Welcome to the Paul Has Fun podcast. I'm Paul, and on this podcast, I dig into my hobbies. I also document my life and interests. Thank you so much for spending time with me.
All right, Jason, we just came out of seeing John Wick Chapter 4.
Chapter 4.
This whole month has been fantastic with the movies, you know. I was telling you earlier, I think the one movie that was just kind of okay was Cocaine Bear, but everything else, including this, was fantastic. And this movie was fantastic. I was engaged the whole time for almost a 3-hour movie. Definitely the villains in this movie, the henchmen, have Star Wars Stormtrooper style aim. They just can't hit John Wick, you know what I mean? But and the movie's a fantasy. Like the amount of abuse this man takes, he's superhuman. He falls from out of windows on top of cars, stairs, everything, and he just continues going. But I saw the first 3 movies because they were all on HBO Max all together.
Just recently?
Recently, maybe a month ago, and they were all fantastic, and it all leads up into this movie, and the world that it builds, with the Continental and the table and all these other characters, and it's the hero's journey. I don't know if it's really the hero's journey with this movie, but he meets all these fun characters along the way. Like in this one, in the last one, we had Halle Berry with her dogs, and that was cool. And in this one, we have this one character we meet, Mr. Nobody, and we have Donnie Yen's character, and then we have the Osaka Continental Hotel. But this was so much fun. I laughed. I was, making all kinds of noises all throughout, engage all throughout. And I had a great time with this movie. Right now, this and Shazam are my favorites of this month. Even though I loved Creed 3, Scream 6, great. But these, right now, are my favorites this month. But that's my initial round of thoughts.
I was very impressed with it. And I'll tell you, with John Wick movies, I think they're very well done. Everything, everyone who's involved with it is super talented. But my big thing with John Wick, and I would say the Jason Bourne movies, is that there's too much action and too little story. And it's just one action scene after another, after another. And then, so I was actually joking tonight with but I still love them, believe me. I'm not because I'm complaining, but that's just my one beef with it. But I was talking to Mark, who wasn't able to go tonight, but I was like, hey, what do you think? It's almost a 3-hour movie, and it's not much story to these movies. It's just going to be action. And I was joking about that. But this one actually had a lot of story to it. It was really good. It was my favorite of all the John Wick movies, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. It was great. Yeah, like you said, had a lot of funny. I just keep thinking of what's his name, Jaws, the henchman from the 2 James Bond movies. They make a joke out of it, almost like when he falls into something or falls from a train or from a car into a house, and he just stands up, brushes his jacket off, and just walks away. And that's what they do. It's just hilarious. 100%. And then not only John Wick, but also some of the henchmen, they get clearly killed, but then they come back, and then of course, and also the one cliche that they can always do is instead of them all coming at him at one time and definitely getting him, they just go after him one at a time. So it's
it's like they're lined up off screen. That was the Hot Shots Part 2 or one of these movies. They're waiting their turn.
It's my cue now. Let me go after him, and then I'll get shot. But the choreography is amazing. Some of the scenes are just incredible. You can't even tell if it's green screen or if it's I assume most of this stuff is real stunts because these guys are known for real stunts. But the most impressive, I think, scene was around that arch. I don't know the official French name in France, but it's cars hitting people and then running, and then cars and hitting people and running, and then that whole. It's just incredible, the choreography and the timing of everything. So that was it just made me think it looks real, and then him driving the camera on Keanu Reeves or on John Wick in the car and he's driving you can't tell. You can't tell if it's real or if not, and it's such a good job. It's so beautiful, and just the lighting. It's a lot of fun. It's a great movie. Yeah, so I did like it.
Piggybacking on your point, as I do, every time we do one of these reviews, I always piggyback on the point you make. The movie was beautiful. In terms of the shots, the way he looked up against certain buildings, and some of the shots The movie is gorgeous.
Gorgeous, yeah.
And to piggyback on your point as well, like, yeah, like sometimes, because you know that there's CGI stuff in there, but the way it's so blended with
Right.
him and with what's going on, like I almost want to see a behind-the-scenes thing just to see what was real and what wasn't, you know?
Right.
But definitely the real MVPs of this movie are the stuntmen.
Oh yeah.
Which do incredible things. I've even the movie critic people that I follow, the movie news people that I follow, they talk about how they hear other people say that there should be an Oscar category for best stunt work. Because this movie has some incredible stunts.
Stunt work. And then even though I love like, you know, making of documentaries and like all the commentaries, like, you know, I get a lot of like Blu-rays and, you know, still and enjoy those bonus features. But one thing I was thinking, like, I don't think I really want to see it, well, at least for now, like the making of this, because I want the movie magic to be there for a while, you know?
Absolutely.
Because if you see it, the making of it, and then the next time you watch it, you're going to just imagine like how they did it. So maybe eventually, but yeah, for sure not for a while.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, I'm thinking like the way he's falling down these stairs, like, I don't know if that was
repeated stairs. My criticisms of the movie, I do wish that Bill Skarsgård, who was a great villain, like the way he was kind of portrayed and everything, he just died too quickly for me. I wish he would have actually gone hand to hand with John Wick and like given him a fight.
And show him a little, he had skills, right?
Yeah,
they should have kept it hidden until the end. And then,
I wish that would have happened. And another criticism, like I said, the stunt work is amazing, but I could have sworn there was one stunt guy, this Asian guy with like long, kind of like a bowl cut that I saw like 20 times.
Oh, okay.
Almost every other scene. I could have sworn it was the same
well,
guy. That's the same guy.
Yeah.
And I noticed that a few times. Like they just kind of recycled or something. That's okay. But it's a criticism. But this movie was so much fun. Like I said, engaged the whole time. And I was into it. I was just. You said this is your favorite John Wick, and I've seen them all. But this one, some of the other ones for me had lulls. I guess maybe it was because I was watching it at home, like watching them all like kind of together. But this one, like I just was so into it. I was just like having such a great. This is like a throwback, definitely, to action movies when we were kids, but a lot more sophisticated, you know, like a Arnold Schwarzenegger or a Sylvester Stallone kind of action movie. But like I said, a lot more sophisticated. But this is definitely one of those movies for guys who like movies. Like, you like your action movie? This is it, you know? Like, you like your action, you like your violence, you like your gunplay. There's this one shotgun that was just like a flamethrower almost.
Or if they get shot and they ignite.
Exactly. But the whole scene when he's finally getting to use this gun, it's like an overhead shot. And you see him moving through.
And there's no cuts. It's like it's
so
over
cool.
It's like point of view of the ceiling. And and then there's no ceiling actually, because it's. I mean,
no, just like you got like this bird's eye view of everything
right.
going on. But all the action set pieces in Osaka, in Paris, when he went to Germany, it's fantastic. And we didn't mention that in this movie you also get Scott. You have so many fun characters.
Scott Adkins,
like you have this one Japanese character who's in a lot of movies, Hiroyuki Sanada, I think.
And he was in Bullet Train. Right?
He's in everything.
He's in a ton of Japanese movies.
He was great. His daughter was great. Lawrence Fishburne was great. Ian McShane was great. Definitely R.I.P. to Lance Reddick, who ends up dying in this movie. I didn't expect that in the very beginning, and who's unfortunately passed away in real life.
I actually didn't notice at the end. I was going to look for it, but I forgot. You know, if they had, I mean, he just passed away like last week.
Yeah, they didn't.
But they could have. Like, just slipped it in there, because all you need is one frame. And,
or just like
or in memory of, but maybe they'll do it for the next movie or on video or something. But there's two things that we've seen in other movies, but they did even more so. So one thing was, there's the second movie we've seen recently in the past maybe 5 years or so, where Donnie Yen plays a blind, assassin.
In Rogue One, he was blind. He was blind in this one, but he was awesome.
He was great. Yeah. Great part for him.
What I was saying before, I'm sorry, it's like Scott Adkins in a fat suit.
That was awesome. He was great.
I
He's
know
hilarious.
He was fantastic, and I never knew Scott Adkins for his acting, but he was a fantastic villain.
And what a great death!
And also, like, you see him like when he's in the table like negotiating, you see him like sweating, and he's just like this greasy gangster. He was and then he had like the asthma pump. The movie
and the gold teeth.
Yes, John Wick. Baba Yaga. When I go my next round, I'm gonna give my score. But if you have any final thoughts before your score,
the one thing I was gonna say. So it was the second role that we saw Donnie in as a blind person fighting, and then
it was awesome.
The other thing we saw that I didn't mention when we were watching it, but they took it to the next level. But we saw it recently in 2019 in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where Brad Pitt's dog, Brad Pitt goes, and then the dog attacks. So in this movie, they have not the same type of dog. It's a German Shepherd, I think, in this movie.
I think
but
so.
They take it to the next level, and then the dog is attacking everybody. But of course, he's attacking bad guys. And then there was a really heartfelt scene when, it was great because, and I think it flipped the guy, going against John Wick, because John Wick could have shot the guy who was going to kill him, but it could have shot him, the black guy, because
Mr. Nobody
was going to kill John Wick, so he could, I'll shoot you. But then he saw the other guy was about to shoot his dog, and he said, "Oh no, because my dogs are my..."
Exactly.
And he shot him.
It's
a
beautiful callback to the first movie.
Very awesome.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah. The movie, the John Wick series is very pro dog.
Pro dog.
I don't know if they're cat people. But they're very pro dog though. Yeah.
So that was fun. But yeah, I can't see any other way that idea wasn't from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh yeah.
But it was like
But then again, it was in the third movie too. Like remember, Halle Berry had those two killer dogs.
Yes, I know. They did, yeah. So, everyone borrows from other.
Yeah. I had such a great time with this movie. This is like an 8.5 for me, minus the criticisms that I said. But this was great. I had such a great time with this movie. For a 3-hour movie, I was completely engaged, never bored, so into it. And for me, it didn't really even have lulls. I was into it the whole time.
I think I'll give it an 8.2. Maybe not as high, but yeah, it was just great. It was just really, really good. I would say almost maybe not that did they film it in Japan, because I think it had a similar feeling to Bullet Train, where I think it's just they made it up. But it was during COVID, so they had to do it that way, I think. They couldn't travel back and forth to all these different countries and film, but they made it look nice.
They definitely filmed in New York. In the end credits, you see that they had a New York unit, but then they might have had others. But
I think in terms of establishment shots, that probably was the real thing, like in Paris and in Osaka and in New York, but then there was this one place where it looked like it was like a hillside in Central Park. There was a cemetery overlooking the skyline, but who knows where that was? But it was great. No.
Or even honestly, that final scene, the final duel scene, that it had a very CGI kind of feel to it. But you don't know if they were really in Paris either. But,
right.
We're gonna wrap it up there.
Wrap it up.
Jason, thank you so much for coming out again and for hooking it up with the Entourage. AMC A-List is the best deal for movie going for sure.
Definitely.
100%. And we're out, my brother.
There's one more thing.
Oh, yeah, sure.
There's one more thing. The scene that was really clever was with the DJ, how she was telling all the people.
That's like something out of Warriors or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's okay, we just raised the price to $40 million, thanks to Mr. Nobody.
And it was Seek and Destroy.
It was Seek and Destroy,
excommunicado. It was Seek and Destroy John Wick.
That was great. That
ultimate evisceration of John Wick.
And they didn't show her face. It was close up of her
lips
and great voice and with the microphone, and she was broadcasting from the middle of the Eiffel Tower or something.
Yeah, that's where that thing is, the operators operate.
Right, where the operators are, and then they have these radios that are shortwave, where have different cities, not even numbers. If you want to
Brussels,
listen to Brussels or Berlin, just tune into this dial. That was great. Anyway, over and out. A-List, go for it. AMC #1.
Boom. Boom.